And now, the LSU Football Fix with Preston Guy, presented by TigerBait, starts now.
And welcome in, everybody. Let me pull my graphic down here. I am Preston Guy, joined with you at our regular time again, Monday night. Zack Nagy couldn't make it. He's being a slacker in New Orleans right now, getting ready for Mardi Gras. So we brought in my good buddy, Will Blackwell, who I haven't had on the show in a while. We don't do guests very often anymore. You know, it's more of a co-host system. So I'm glad I finally get to squeeze you in, Will.
Well, Preston, I appreciate it. We both are busier probably than we'd like to be sometimes, so we don't get to chat. But thanks for having me, dude. I'm happy to hang out.
Yeah, man, no problem. And guys, tonight is going to be more of a, grill and chill style show. I mean, there's not a ton of LSU news. Yes, we're all excited about the recruiting class that's coming up for 2025, but there's no real action moving right now. It's more of just speculation. You know, there's no real recruiting events going on right now. So bit of a slower news cycle. 2 LSU Tigers did win the Super Bowl. So of course we're going to kind of chat it up, talk a little Super Bowl. What's cool about a slow night like this, we get to throw it back to you and kind of give the show back to the fans. So if you want to chit chat on something, I know a lot of shows this year, it's been like hey guys, it's been so busy today. If you want something in, give it a super chat, or we're probably not getting your comment. Well, tonight we're going to be a little more chill. So if you got something, throw it out there. So, of course, we're going to chat it up about the Super Bowl. Mahomes gets his 3rd Super Bowl. 2 LSU Tigers come home with a new ring. The Saints' new offensive coordinator called a game there. Or didn't call a game, but he was the passing game coordinator. And then we're going to dive into what I'm looking forward to in spring ball. And we're going to kind of talk about those angles and what to look for and things of whatnot. Of course, this is going to be a team that's a completely drastically different looking team next year, being that you're bringing in new defensive staff and new offensive players. So a lot to look forward to there. Guys, please hit the like button, as Fire3449 says right here. Hit the like button. This is our final show until August. So give me a like button. Let's see, what shameless plug can I come up with for my life? I always try to come up like the tackiest
subscribe.
Okay, we had Colin Hurley on the show. Like if you're excited to see Colin Hurley, like if you want Bryce Underwood to side with LSU.
Like if you love Jaden Daniels.
Like if you want the show to come back in August, or I don't know.
No, what you should do is like one of the old chain emails that's like, if you don't forward this within 24 hours, you will get some crazy type of disease, and forward to your 10 best friends.
So
until 10
hit
friends
that like button, or you're going to get a venereal disease. Guy,
yeah, something weird.
Like Lil Wayne said in his song. Make sure to hit subscribe to the channel, guys. This channel has grown so fast. We're now the largest LSU content channel. I think we're like 20 subscribers away from 27,000 subscribers. Okay. So y'all, hit that subscribe button. Get us there before spring ball. We're going to be back with like post-game, like practice reports starting March 5th. And of course, Mike and I will do our post-game, post-spring game show. So if you're a football lover like we are here, there will be football content going year round. It's just this show won't air weekly until August. So get that like in, get that subscribe in. Did you enjoy Super Bowl last night? We'll just start broadly.
Well, are you asking me as a fan, or are you asking me as a bettor, sports gambler?
See, look, you got all these hats to wear. Let's talk about as a fan of the
it was a great football game, obviously, and I think the score indicates those were like 2 really good football teams, right?
Oh, for sure.
It was kind of sloppy at times. There were mistakes, fumbles, the inexcusable punt off your leg, the penalties by Trent Williams back to back, stuff like that. But overall, it's kind of weird, Preston. I was sitting there and watching it. I just we laid low. I hung out with my wife and kids, and I was sitting there and I was thinking, these are like the best football players on the planet. Like these, 40, 50 guys that are actually playing the game. It's crazy to be able to witness them perform at this level. It
Yeah.
was an awesome game, so much talent all the way around. But I was surprised by some of the sloppy things that happened out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Like that punt. Now that punt, it's weird to me because it's just random chaos. Now you make your Peter call on your punt replacement.
yeah, I
But
mean,
like if your back is turned to the ball and you're blocking your guy, I mean, isn't it just kind of random chaos?
Yeah, of course. And I don't know if you saw the replay. And that's probably why they emphasize so much. Like, it's not, hey, Peter, like, watch out for the ball.
Yeah.
It's like, Peter, that shit's about to hit you. Like, back up out of the way, sprint to the sideline. And the guy kind of got a little bit lazy, didn't sprint out of the way. And the weird part is you could probably punt a million punts in that and have the guy run down and do the same thing and it wouldn't hit off of his heel like it did. I mean, it hit like square off the back of his foot. And of course,
the return man takes all the heat for that.
Well, I mean, the returner's got to fall on the ball too. They had some nerves as a team and it was evident. I mean, playing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, but things like that don't normally happen. The 49ers aren't a mistake-prone team. So it was just kind of weird to see things like that happen on such a big stage.
Yeah. Will, one thing of it, you talked about like the elite status of the athletes in that game. One thing I've always wondered, okay, so you're an All-American at LSU.
Yep.
Only lost one football game as a starter at LSU. Are you aware of that? Did you know that?
No, and it happened to be a championship.
Wow. Yeah, it happened to be the championship.
Thanks a lot,
that's correct.
Football gods. It's really cool stat of yours you got there for me.
I looked it up, and you got hurt in your 2010 season. You broke your leg.
You got hurt the first
play of the whole
game.
season.
Yes,
unbelievable.
Yeah.
That triggered some memories in me, and I was like, I completely forgot he did that.
2010 was a forgotten season, man. We some things went a little differently, and Cam Newton doesn't have like a generational season.
Yeah. Now I'll say this: imagine that 2010 team with a Jaden Daniels.
Dude. No.
Because you realize that year, like your leading quarterback had like 1,100 yards. Right?
Yeah, but see the thing about that is, and obviously it's nice to just go back and be like, what if we put this guy here? There was only one guy that was even remotely in the realm of being anywhere close to what Jaden Daniels could have been. Like there just weren't that many guys that
who was the one? Was it Mettenberger?
No, Cam Newton. I'm just talking about in general.
In that season. Okay, I thought you'd been on LSU's roster
in that time period. So from like, I mean, you got Tebow, but he's not like your prototypical. He's an outlier too. There weren't like 3 or 4 guys that could run the ball and
in
throw
that
the ball
offense,
in any offense, just in general.
Yeah.
There are, still only a few now, but there's a couple. So I don't know. It's hard to even think. Like, I don't even know what Gary Crowton would have. His mind would have exploded. Like he wouldn't have known. Like it's like, hey, I'm gonna go ride a horse and then go in and like catching a Mustang and trying to ride a Mustang.
Yeah,
I don't know. He would have been able to handle it. Or
I remember Gary Crowton being considered like this just modern, innovative mind because he ran the spread offense at Oregon. And it's like we were all fools for thinking that Les Miles was going to run the spread here, like.
Well, see, the thing about that is when Gary first got here, it worked. And the thing that some of the guys that talked about, I don't know if anybody would ever reiterate this, but we always talked about how simple his offense was, how simple the audibles and the calls and the checks were. And so we kind of felt like 08, 09, like these guys know what we're doing. They know our checks. Like they've heard it for 2 or 3 years. They know what they know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And that was just kind of one of the knocks. So he did have some innovative stuff. Like he was starting to bring all the motion and misdirection, like you saw with the Chiefs last night, which is probably the thing that they do the best and is why they win so many games. He was ahead of the curve on that. He just, was like, Lucky for left and Ringo for right. And it's like everybody figured it out. So
with the offensive play call he loved to dial up that drove me nuts was the option to the short side of the field. He loved, and it was like a power option too, not like a speed option to catch him off guard. It was I guess I'm
trying to remember when we started pitching it
out of the pistol, right?
Well, yeah, we did have a lot of, once Jordan started playing, we did go to more quarterback run.
Yeah.
Which, it kind of made sense because you're gaining an extra guy. Jordan had pretty dynamic running ability at times.
No doubt.
So it did make sense. It's just the game was different back then, man. You didn't have to throw the
why
ball.
wouldn't you go to the wide side though? Give them some. You got these wide hash marks in college. Use them.
Because we were going to overpower them, and if we didn't, then we didn't deserve to win, and that was pretty much what we were taught.
So the whole point of asking all this is, so what's the difference between going up against like a Nick Saban Alabama front and then like when you get to that fall camp in the NFL? Because you signed with a team out of college. I mean, had a cup of tea, couple fall camps, right?
Just one, but man, it's 1% of the 1%. So like, yes, had a great career. We won a bunch of games, but like at that time, I was just the one guy like from LSU that was good. There was another guy from like Boston College that was there. And it's just the talent pool is just so freaking small. And the guys are the thing I always say is, first of all, like you kind of got to be a genetic freak, right? Like there's guys that can overcome the odds and like outwork. Most of the time, those are skill positions or occasionally like Kurt Warner or something like that.
Right.
But, you get there and in college, you might play, say you play Alabama. Yeah, everybody on their team's good, but there's a couple of guys that you might be like, okay, so I'll block this, like this dude. I'll block this dude on this play. There's no way. In the pros, there's no. This guy's not that good, or this guy's, this guy, I can reach him no matter what, or there's no way he can, beat me across my face. Like everybody is that guy at every position, and they always have been. It kind of goes one way or the other. Some people will say the money ruins guys, but sometimes the money does motivate people, especially, I don't know, just like the defensive lineman, man, the defensive and offensive lineman, you got to be
I've never
just
understood
a
that
nasty dude. Just a nasty dude. Like, look at Chris Jones. I don't know how he's not MVP last night. I mean, you got Patrick, obviously.
Yeah, but I don't think they put too much effort into it. They don't have like scouts evaluating the field. Oh, Trent McDuffie, I thought should have won.
Trent McDuffie had a great game.
He was so good.
But I mean, I think Jim Nantz, the only thing he said for like the second half was Chris Jones.
Yeah. So your average defensive lineman, right, in the NFL, is it night and day difference between like lining up against Alabama?
Yeah.
Because you lined up against Mount Cody, is that right?
Let's see, we would have played like who we played? Terrence Cody, Upshaw.
Yeah,
would have been playing, and
I mean that 2011.
Josh Williams was their other.
Oh yeah,
which he would have been the guy like I'll block Josh Williams every play. Like,
really?
I compared to the other guys, they had this one guy that was big old Australian guy. I can't remember his name. But 2010, 2011, Cody would have been gone. So I think 2009 would have been his last year, maybe 10. But I'm trying to think of who their other defensive tackle was.
Dude, I
don't know. And then my former high school teammate was one of their other defensive ends for a little while too, Luther Davis.
Look at that.
But
night and day difference, though.
Yeah, man, I think so.
Wow, that's wild.
You think about it, things Alabama's got, of course they're a little bit different. They get some, the cream of the crop, but if they got 12 defensive linemen, I mean, how many of them are going to the NFL?
4, 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you take the 4 or 5 best ones from Alabama,
not every year,
and
though,
one,
right?
Yeah, not every year, but you take the 3 best players from Alabama, and then the best player from Ohio State, and then the best player from whatever,
consolidated into 32 teams. Yeah, and then you do it from going up to 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. You're up there going against. You're not playing against Josh Williams from Alabama, who's your age. You're playing against guys that are 29. What I'm saying? If I get 2 more sacks, I'm making another $1 million. Like it's not a game anymore.
Right. Anymore. Oh, I just was that you mentioned the whole like players aren't as good when they get money take. I didn't say you said that. No, other people say that.
Yeah, but People do make that argument sometimes.
I think it just blows my mind. Like, I mean, the more you invest into a sport, I mean, think about it. These athletes, like, when it's that much money on the line, they just make their whole lives revolve around it, man. I mean, supplements, diet. I mean, it's just, and not to mention, as the science of the sport improves,
that's the big key. Yeah.
I mean, I think like your average NFL team could beat the 72 Dolphins. I mean, I really do.
For sure. It's I mean,
I'm sorry.
And I keep, so, obviously I sell orthopedic implants is my job. So I work with orthopedic surgeons who are obviously all like in tune and kind of keep up with what's going on in the sports world and injuries and stuff. And I make an argument to them because they ask me kind of questions like this sometimes. And I think like there's got to be a point where humans can't physiologically be any more than they already are now. Like there can't be, you think about it like back in 2000, if a guy ran a 4.5, you're like, oh my God, dude's got 4.5 speed. Like he's going to the league no matter what. You got linebackers running 4.5.
Yeah,
like
no.
4.5 is like 4.5 is like
unless you're
cool,
like 230
what I mean?
and running a 4.5.
Well, but there's guys that do that. There's multiple
Leonard
guys
Fournette
that do that.
That's why I brought. Leonard did it at 250.
Look at DK Metcalf.
Yeah,
he was running a 10 or 9 something probably. No, 10. 10-100?
Probably 10-1. Probably something like that. There's no way he's in the 9s. I mean,
yeah, I was gonna say there's no way he might be playing football.
He is still probably a wall of muscle. You know what I mean? But like, he's got football speed though.
Well, I mean,
and heart.
Guys like Christian McCaffrey. Did you see that one he bounced the outside last night? I mean,
yeah, McCaffrey's a freak, man.
Everybody's a freak. Everybody in the NFL is a freak.
Yeah, but McCaffrey's especially a freak. Come on.
Oh, of course.
He's like the freaky. I don't know. Nick Bosa might be.
Hope. He's the. Yeah, but I don't know.
You know what's hilarious
he gets the ball. It's flashy. It's pretty. You get to see it. You
in a league full of these just like steroid monsters. They look like the Monstars from Space Jam. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The absolute best is dad bod Patrick Mahomes. Okay, who runs like he's trotting around. I mean,
yeah, he did. I actually thought that he looks a little slower now. No, obviously they played like 90 games at this point. And they're beat up as you can be, but he had some good runs. But I mean, he's
that
28-year-old Patrick Mahomes running and not 24-year-old. He's not as dynamic as he was for sure.
It's just funny because it doesn't look athletic when he runs around, but it gets the job done. But that 4th and 1, like reverse that they called with him running out of shotgun, dude, that was so ballsy.
wasn't it just a
it wasn't like it was like
it was just a fake.
Yeah, just a fake. It wasn't like a reverse.
They faked the dive and he kept it.
He faked it and then just like trotted outside and there was the lane wide open.
He probably hadn't carried it all season in that play.
Andy Reid's such a good play caller, man.
Yeah, of course, like I said, the 49ers played a good game too. Kyle Shanahan played a good game, but they kind of got away from it there at the end. I think they really pumped the bag when they didn't score off that interception.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's a huge momentum swing.
My wildest take about the Super Bowl, Mahomes is unquestionably the best player in the NFL, and it's not particularly close.
Yeah.
And he's basically a new Tom Brady, except for we all unquestionably accept that he's actually the best player in the league, and he's not a product of a system or a product of cheating or what all the insults we've seen thrown at Brady. He's a system quarterback, or Randy Moss carried him to that, or, oh, look, Bill Belichick is really the mastermind behind all those things, valid, invalid, whatever. Nobody has anything to say about that about Mahomes. It's just like, yeah, Mahomes, he's pretty much the GOAT.
I think that's because it happened so fast. It was just a meteoric rise. Dude came out, first season they went to the AFC Championship and got beat by Brady?
He went to the AFC Championship every single year.
But they got beat by the Patriots on like a questionable call. It wasn't like
2019, yeah.
Wasn't that the lasers? What they shine the lasers when that?
I don't remember but I do remember it was a contested game. Gronk went wild there at the end. I remember that.
Dude, I was watching Gronk highlights the other day, and
What a freak.
Dude's way better than Kelsey overall.
Wow.
Kelsey's got better stats.
Kelsey's got more longevity. He's done it for longer.
But Kelsey's more of a receiver. Like, if you want to talk about like an OG tight end, go watch Gronk highlights and come back, because that dude was a beast.
Yeah.
I mean, he wanted the physicality. Like, he wanted to hit people.
Yeah.
Kelsey's a little prettier. Not that Kelsey might be a better route runner.
That's how he pulls T Swift.
Might be a better route runner. I don't mean prettier as in the face, because he's not like particularly attractive, but he is a little fancier, maybe is the right word.
Yeah.
He runs cleaner routes, but like, I don't know that he catches the ball better. I don't know that he might be faster. I don't know that he runs the rock better, though. I don't know.
Yeah.
So for debate, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the main thing, Gronk has a better radius, like a catching radius.
Oh, yeah.
He's an ugly
yak. His yak is just so awesome to watch.
There's no question in my mind. If you plug them in 1947 and say play football, Gronk is the better football player. You know, he transcends the test of time.
100%. But I mean, Kelsey could probably like play quarterback and throw them to himself.
Yeah.
In the 40s.
Yeah, no, he'd probably be a beast quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, try tackling either of them.
No chance.
Let's get to some comments here. Let's see here. Everybody hit the like button. There you go, man. He's putting it out there. Chance Babin, digging the double beard. Thank you. It's a great look. Mike Scarborough loves to hate on it. I think it's one of those hate us because you ain't us situations. You know, like if you could grow a beard that looked this good, I believe you would.
You know, you gotta have something to hate on a little bit. He can't, you know, he's got to keep you in line. He can't let you just be this big, huge LSU personality and get your head all big. He's gonna knock you down a little bit.
Well, he's probably really happy that my job opportunities are getting thinner and thinner every year. I will never have a job in the whole state of Washington. I'll never have a job in Oregon. I will never have a job in South Bend, Indiana.
That's okay.
I am just like absolutely using my Twitter.
Who are you going after next? Let me see them pull up the schedule real quick. UCLA?
Well, hey, look, man. It looks like UCLA is going after themselves right now with their coach taking offensive coordinator.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah, absolutely. That's probably the most LSU news we've got this week.
Which one?
The UCLA loses Chip Kelly because they're on the schedule. They're coming to Tiger Stadium.
Well, baseball's coming. I mean, we got 7 days till baseball. Like, let's go. Yeah. But why? Why does the guy? Is the writing on the wall? Is he already getting fired, or is it all about the Benjamins?
Dude, if Ohio State's got Benjamins, like more, OC makes more money than UCLA's head football coach.
That's where they're headed. I mean, they're paying everybody out of the port. I mean, they've got this should be their year, right? Like, Ohio State's got to be the favorite out of the gate.
My only understanding of the situation is that maybe Chip Kelly decided he didn't want to be at a place where you can't compete with NIL. And he understood the writing on the wall at UCLA. And he's like, why do I want to do this and just get fired next year when I can just go ahead and pull? Like, what kind of job am I going to be able to land next year when I get fired?
Why can't UCLA compete?
I mean, that's conventional wisdom in play. That's why it's all baffling to the rest of us, because we're like, none of this makes sense. Why don't you man up and try to turn this football team around? I guess maybe you'd rather call plays.
I guess so. And, you know, we talk about it all the time. Guys are meant to be coordinators and guys are meant to be head coaches. So. Maybe Chip's better served as a coordinator, but just weird all the way around, in my opinion. I don't know.
I mean, I would understand. It would have made a lot more sense if he bolted to the NFL to be an OC.
100%. Yeah, and there was speculation.
Boston College coach did that. It does beg the question, not saying I agree with this notion, but it does beg the question, is being a college football head coach a less desirable job than it used to now that we're in the portal NIL era?
Yeah, but there's still guys out there that want to do it. I mean,
it's still, a
it's
dream
still-
job for most dudes,
you're
right?
still, you're still making double,
Millions.
triple what you would make as a,
No, you say
special
that.
teams coordinator in the NFL. I don't know. I mean, what's a average head coaching salary for a top 35 football team in Division I right now?
Probably
$5 million.
Seven, if I had to guess.
Yeah,
I mean, and then you think about the equivalent in the NFL, it's probably right there with it. Like
special teams coordinators aren't, and
no, special teams coordinators, no.
Assistant coaches aren't making that much money in the NFL.
The other thing about contracts in college football, the head coach tends to get longer, more money guaranteed contracts. And the thing the agents use is, if my guy doesn't have 5 years left on his deal, well, how am I going to recruit? I can't get players to come here if you're not even financially committed to me. So of course every college, every time they fire a coach, they have this obscene buyout that's just disgusts the entire world. Whereas the NFL, if your coach has a year left on his contract, Jason Garrett, his contract literally just expired, and the Cowboys just didn't even fire him. They're just like, we're just going to hire another guy.
Sorry, Jason. Smell you later.
That doesn't happen in college.
The NFL is a multi-billion-dollar entity for a reason. And there has been speculation. Of course, there's rumors. People know, and some people don't know what they're talking about. But I suspect that the NCAA is either going to, one, fall apart, or two, these big institutions are just going to no longer be associated with it.
Yeah, they're going to break off.
They're going to do their own thing. They don't need the NCAA anymore. They are big enough themselves to regulate and control their conference. They don't need negotiation power.
The Big Ten, SEC, like leadership.
That's kind of what brought it to. I mean, there's no reason that they shouldn't do that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, there is the writing on that. Is the first piece on the chessboard.
Yeah,
that is you're moving your pawn in place to do some sort of takeover like that. We'll see. I also think about things like EA, the video game company. They are making their college football video game without any mention of the NCAA.
Smart.
I mean,
first off, for it. I already made some money off of it. Not much.
Did you ever need the NCAA? Like, was anybody not going to buy that game because it doesn't have the NCAA logo on it?
No. I guess the only reason for that is licensing. I mean,
right.
Do they license the game with each school now?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah. So then what's the NCAA even doing?
They just cut the middleman out is what they did. It's just EA college football. And I think that was also some foresight on some probably high up in the know executives. EA has no shortage of money. Okay. When the problems with their video games come out, it is not the money available to make these darn games. It's the corporate soullessness of the company. Right.
Yes,
so
for sure. I know, Preston, I just think that the NCAA is, I hate to say useless. I'm sure there's some things that they do for certain communities and whatever, but
they're great for women's volleyball. They're great for softball. I do believe that.
Yeah, but those sports need television more than they need the NCAA.
Yeah.
So if you're going to allow a school or a conference to negotiate that on their own, then
what about things like track and field that you really just do not get TV deals, or swimming and diving? You get a little bit.
Those schools are already operating at a loss at the.
Yeah, you get a little bit, but to have a league just to provide that structure is great for those small sports. I just think college football has grown into a monster that's outgrown what the NCAA is built to provide.
I guess, and there are things the NCAA is there, I guess, to essentially at this point enforce Title IX, which we all agree there should be maybe not with Title IX, but the fact that there
Yeah.
should be equal women and men's sports. Now, that's going to be what's going to get cut in, but it's only going to get cut from these institutions that break away, right?
Let me tell you
It's going to
this.
be girls' sports, women's sports.
I personally
smaller
think
men's
that
sports.
the Title IX equals scholarships. I really wish that they had an exemption, right, for sports that don't have a counterpart. Right now, I understand there's some flaws in that system and it can be abused nefariously. But on the surface, the 85 football scholarships does so much harm to young men trying to get an offer for a sport outside of football, tennis, golf. They don't have a soccer team for men at LSU. Lacrosse, a baseball,
soccer,
you only
men's
get
soccer.
11.7 scholarships.
Yeah.
I would love to see that just go and be its own thing, right? And more, they could actually have outside of football even numbers. It's not because I don't think that they have enough women's scholarships.
Right.
I mean, I love the fact that all these women get these scholarships. It's that I hate that there are young men playing sports all the same as these women in another sport that don't have that same opportunity to pull in a scholarship.
Yeah, and that is, that is going to be the issue. But I see these, and I see over here in the chat people wondering about these non-football schools surviving. Maybe they will at the big institutions if those institutions agree to. I think the money is going to be outlandish, right? Like they're going to make hand over fist if the Big Ten and the SEC decide to make a Super League. Let's call it a Super League. Make their own conference. That doesn't mean that the rest of college football is going to go away. And that doesn't mean we're not going to watch it. It's just a different product, right?
The money would stay as long as they're still making money. The money is eventually given to the schools, and the schools are what are funding. It's not like the money goes to the NCAA. No, the NCAA goes on to fund those sports. It is a school-based or conference-based system. So I think the money would be a wash. I don't think it would have any impact on smaller sports.
I would say the only argument to that would be if these schools decide to make a super conference, then what jurisdiction are they under other than their own? So maybe they hold each other accountable and say, look,
it would be a new league of some sort. It would be like, just like NIAA came out with their own league.
But then they're regulating themselves, right? So, I mean, how long, and obviously they're right at the behest of the U.S. government. Like there's certain things they just can't do, but how messy does that get?
I just personally believe that this is not uncharted territory, and they're just going to copy what every other new league does. It's not rocket science. It's you create a new sports league and you send the college teams to go participate. I think they could figure it out. Let's get to some comments here.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Mick McGrath, of course, says, "Good to see you, Will."
What's up, Mick? How you doing, brother?
It's good.
I like that little puppy right there.
That's a cute. Yeah, it looks like a golden lab, maybe. Yeah. All right, let's see here. Last show, crying. Yeah, it is the last show, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, crying belly. It's pretty good.
Don't cry because it's gone. Rejoice that we had it. Exactly, guys. I'm telling you, the 5 months or whatever, every single time it flies by. I enjoy some time off with my family in between. And y'all wouldn't want to hear me sitting here trying to talk about football news. It would get very 2010 Bleacher Report-y. like we're just making up stuff to talk about, like, oh yeah, On3 came out with a preseason poll and has LSU at 11. What do you think about that? Like, I don't like talking about that kind of junk, So I'm glad that we get to do our show for the meat and potatoes type stuff. Let's see. I had another comment here. Preston, are you going to do any shows covering LSU baseball? The answer is no. And I'm going to tell you why. I am a reporter for TigerBait.com, paid to cover the football team and the football recruiting. Occasionally, I will fill in spots for other sports and do things. But my beat is the LSU football team. And in my opinion, I think if you're going to come up here and have a platform and talk about something, you should be an expert and know what you're talking about. I'm not the best at baseball. The other part of this is I really, when you decide to become a member of the media, and put on that credential, go to the games, write the story, you forfeit being a fan. Like you can't just go to the games and cheer for the team when you cover it professionally. That you have to make a difference. There's a reason I don't show up for this podcast wearing LSU gear, and I don't actively root for the team. When I don't cover the baseball team at all, I get the chance to go take my son to the games and cheer for my alma mater. I don't get to do that for football. So that's kind of, I hope that opens up. Like I kind of want to be a fan for baseball, football, basketball, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Preston doesn't like LSU football. He only likes LSU baseball and basketball.
Hey, look, man. When you put on the reporter cap, you're a robot. I have no emotions. I don't like or dislike LSU football.
I do. I appreciate that in a journalism sense. Like yeah. I would want you. And I can say this as a 35-year-old, right? I can't say that I would have wanted this when I was 18 or 20 answering questions, but I would want you to try and find out, I guess, what the truth or whatever you would. I would want you to ask your questions right? from an objective standpoint, and to know that, unless it was super negative, and then I'd be like, "What the hell, Preston? I thought we were boys."
If I go full Glenn Gilbo on it,
yeah, exactly. Oh, we couldn't make it through a show without mentioning no Glenn. I would, my thing is, I would be happy to know that everybody would be subjective. And I think for the most part, a lot of people involved with the LSU media do a very, yourself included, very good job of that, because I see everything that everybody says, and I can tell.
Yeah. I try to be fair. I don't think anybody knows me as like a overtly negative reporter or anything like that.
No, you do a great job. And I say that to say that I appreciate yours and the majority of the people that work in the LSU media on the beat.
Oh yeah.
It's professionalism.
Who was, when you got interviewed, who was your favorite reporter to take questions from?
Say what you will, but I always thought that Zack did a really good job. He always made you feel comfortable. Of course, I mean, things were different. I talked to Mike a lot, but probably more when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Being recruited.
That's typical.
And it's kind of crazy to think about. That's one thing that's like flipped on its head and is entirely different than what it was in 2006. It's just another one of the things that's kind of gone to hell. But I don't know, man. I pretty much enjoyed everyone. It was such a different time. And it's like,
so you're not going to put someone on blast here. You're not going to be like, dude, this guy was an asshole.
No, dude, because that was the thing that was so cool about 2011 specifically, was that from day one, it just felt like this, like, this is going to be a special year. And so, like, everybody from the media to the equipment, just everybody was just tight with each other.
Locked in, man.
And I mean, that's kind of what it takes. Like, of course, we never really experienced the negative side of things that year. Yeah. It was all just so, like, it just went up every week. It just got better and better and better until the end. Then it was over. So it didn't really matter. But most of the people involved were happy and just like fortunate to be there and be doing their job. And it takes all that. It takes a whole a fan base, down to the media, down to the administration, down to everybody to win something like that. And
maybe if the media was more critical in 2011, they would have seen that buzzsaw coming on 1-9-12 and could have identified the problem.
What would that matter? Preston was still a loss.
I don't know. Maybe he could have
Les
won.
Miles, you think Les was have been like, oh dang, Zack and Matt Moscona think I should do something different against Alabama. Maybe I should change it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really? Les Miles.
Absolutely
not. Okay,
I also don't think the media being tougher.
Have a debate earlier, but we're not having a debate right now.
No, dog. I don't think anything the media does or says impacts a team at all whatsoever. If it does, I really do feel like the team's not well coached. My honest opinion.
That is not true. I think it at a certain point it can, right?
So
Like you
okay,
said,
so my Jaden Daniels Heisman, we'll call it uh um information that I was putting out
campaign.
there. Yeah, well, no, I'm not going to say campaign. I was not campaigning. I was telling the truth, is what I like.
I
I
agree.
don't lobby. I spit facts. That's what I
No,
do, and the
100%.
facts spoke. Are you saying that impacted the Heisman race?
Maybe there might have been a couple voters that read your facts and were like, "God, I've been an idiot. I really think that Bo Nix is better than Jane Daniels. Let me change my vote." I don't think that one instance can make a difference. I mean, it can. Especially now, dude. It's so different. Social media, like
Mhm.
you get on social media and like one person saying one bad thing about you, like whatever, dude. But collectively, if every beat writer that you see is, or every piece of media that you see is like, dang, so and so fumbled the ball, or so and so's doing whatever, then it can start to have an effect. Now, whether somebody's going to admit that or not, I don't know. But it goes to the interview process, right? So, like, if it's a bad year and everybody's on pins and needles, and so gets mad at so and Jacques comes to an interview and asks me something I don't like, and
Yeah.
then I get in his face and I'm done doing interviews. Well, now the rest of the media is going to be on their toes with the other guys, and
Right.
it does carry over. So it's like it's everybody in the building, man, and it really, and people say that it's such a cliche, but it really takes everybody. You cannot have any dissension and make things work. I think that it's probably the reason why Saban's been so successful. I mean, obviously the dude knows how to coach a football team and scheme and X's and O's and psychology and all that, but everybody that he has in every position is the best.
Right.
He's got the best, whatever, AD, the janitor. It's everybody, and that's what it takes. I hope that, and I seem to think that Brian Kelly kind of understands that too. It's an organization, like we see with the Chiefs. Like from the top down, everybody kind of has their stuff in line. They're put together. They answer questions the right way. It's not just nobody's going out there just slapping around winning a Super Bowl,
Right. All right. I got someone put a question directly for you in the chat. We're going to get to
Okay.
that in a bit. We're going to talk a little bit about what we're looking forward to in LSU spring ball, what I'm going to be watching out for. I haven't told Will what my 4 things are, so he'll just react. It'll be a blind reaction, so it'll be fun. Okay. But first, we got to get to a couple ads. We got to pay our bills here, guys. And this is the last time you're going to hear me say that phrase for a while. So pay attention and make sure to spend your money at these places in the next 6 months so that these sponsors come back and I can do my show again next year. Guys, our title sponsor this year has been Celebrity Theaters, guys. They've been absolutely great. I love having a title sponsor that not only, is a great partner for us and does good things for us, but you believe in. I love Celebrity Theaters, guys. It's Louisiana's only locally owned and operated theater with locations in Baton Rouge and Ruston. Because it's locally owned and operated, every single time you're going to be guaranteed to see a clean facility, better pricing, superior customer service, state-of-the-art technology. The Baton Rouge location has an invigorating arcade featuring over 50 games. It's the largest in town. I love it. I love going and shooting hoops with my boys there. A lot of fun. It's got a bar featuring beer, wine, frozen drinks, and of course the oversized leather reclining seats. Guys, I remember when I was a kid, I mean, if you had told me growing up that you were going to have a theater where you could go grab a beer and watch it in a lazy boy, I would have lost my mind. The future's here, guys. Okay, Dolby Atmos 3D sound system. It is incredible. Loudest theater. If you want to go see an awesome movie, like think about like the Oppenheimers of the world, there's no better sound quality in the area. And guys, it's not always expensive to go out there. It's actually one of the more affordable theaters, but they do weekly savings to make it even more affordable for you. So Monday is Senior Savings Day, where you get $5 off for all patrons over the age of 55. Tuesday is Bargain Tuesday, where you get discounted movie tickets and concessions for all. Wednesday is College Admission Night for students students after 5 p.m. They get in for $5. And the Baton Rouge location, of course, has half off arcades all day. Thursday at the Baton Rouge location is the Thirsty Thursday discounted bar items. And of course, let's talk about Willy Wonka's Chocolate Land for an LSU fan. That is Alumni Hall. Wrong graphic there. All right. Alumni Hall, guys, don't forget to use our special promo code TigerBait for 10% off in store. Hey, Tiger fans, when you want to show your LSU Tiger pride, Alumni Hall is your ultimate shopping experience. The best and largest selection of apparel for the whole family. Nike Golf, Campion, Polite, Columbia, Peter Millar, Southern Tide, hats, Yetis, gifts, accessories, and more. LSU student and faculty receive 10% off in store every day. Don't forget to use that TigerBait code. You can earn cashbacks with their Hall Pass Rewards program. Alumni Hall, located in Perkins Row, or anytime at alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where the Tiger fans shop. And last little spot here, guys, we got to talk about SpecterSportsArt.com. Y'all see the Jaden Daniels piece behind me? That is his newest piece. Guys, y'all can get prints for that starting at $50, or you can get the canvas piece like what's behind me at $150, guys. Specter art is art that's guaranteed to catch the eye of any Tiger fan. It's going to be the details that really hold their attention, from, the message in Joe Burrow's hat on his Smokin' Joe to the puzzle piece on Dylan Cruz's sleeve. Guys, it tells a story. It's art with energy that tells a story. You remember the Smokin' Joe Burrow piece from 2020, I'm sure. Since then, he's followed it up with 6 incredible pieces, including Burrow and Coach O, the Tiger Stadium piece that hangs behind me. He's got a Drew Brees piece, a Dylan Cruz, a Tommy Tanks piece, and of course the Jaden Daniels, the kid piece, which is outstanding. If you haven't seen it over my shoulder, guys, take a look. Best part of this artwork, guys, the athletes themselves are actually getting this and hanging this in their man cave. Dylan Cruz's father purchased his original painting, and it is at their house hanging in their man cave. Joe Burrow's parents bought it for their living room. Guys, you really want the stuff you don't in a world full of Chat GPT art. Go for Specter. It's what the athletes are actually getting themselves. And when you're on the website, make sure to use the promo code TigerBait10 for 10% off your first bundle order. Guys, you're not going to be disappointed. Go check it out. You see the link right behind me. It's SpecterSportsArt.com/the Bayou. It's in the description of this video as well. All right, let's get to this comment that I promised y'all about Will Blackwell here. Linda Young just tuned in. I used to live in West Monroe, watched you play on Friday nights. How about that? A little Friday night love there.
Hey,
what are you
up,
doing
Linda?
now?
Linda, I'm Preston and I talked about this at length pre-show. I'm a full-time parent now. So I have 3 young children. I take care of them as much as my wife will let me. But I am back in Monroe. I sell orthopedic implants, and any orthopedic surgeon that needs some hardware, I'm here for you.
Will, you played in the 2008 state championship with West Monroe, right?
No, 2005.
2005. Oh man,
Yes.
You're an old man. All right,
Yes.
So my team roomed with West Monroe. I was just going to ask that in 2008.
2008.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we played
West
the state championship
and Destrehan.
They lost.
And
Jordan
lost,
Jefferson.
beat them the next year.
Jordan Jefferson beat him.
Yep, Jordan. Yeah. Who else was on that team?
Jordan Allen was on that team.
No, the
West Monroe.
Mikey Eugene play.
I don't
know. But yes, Jordan Allen did.
I think Ja Eugene was a little older.
Not Ja, Micah.
Micah Eugene. Ooh.
Yes. Anyway, Jordan Allen.
West Monroe, he was on that team for sure. I know that.
Mingo would have been on that team.
Oh, Barkevius Mingo. God, what a nasty defensive line that was.
Yeah, he would have been on that team because I think his first year in college was 2009.
I question, we roomed with them. We took up 2 floors and they took up the other 5 of the hotel. I question whether or not my football team could have taken them as the 1A team, but we'll see.
I don't know, man. That was a decent team. Of course, I wasn't as involved because, I was at LSU actually playing football for LSU. Mm-hmm. So 2008 wasn't a great year either.
Well, look, man, the difference between 1A ball and 5A ball, it's just night and day, man.
Oh, that's the difference in college and pro, dude.
Yeah, well, hold up now. I mean, it's not that big of a difference, but I mean, West Monroe and Destrehan, those were some stud teams.
Oh, especially back then. I mean, Destrehan's kind of still on the map. We've taken a little slide. We hadn't won one in like 12 years, so it's been a while. But
yeah, it's funny. You would think with the split it would be easier, but
no, dude. Zachary keeps recruiting and getting all these kids.
Dude, what a machine Zachary's become since then. Look at this.
Sorry.
Big Cojones Kelly with the super sticker.
Hey, big cojones.
Best profile picture on the internet. Hey, shoot me a
Toss,
comment.
dive, rinse, and repeat. That's what that should be my Twitter bio.
Yeah, right. Well, that was your entire football career, just about, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, a couple of passing plays, a couple of pass blocks.
Anyways, you're talking to the 16-1 Will Blackwell here. Okay.
16-1. Golly, that's nice. I wish I would have gotten to play 2010 because they only lost 2 that year.
Well, no, that's part of you started 3 games that year.
Right? Yeah, but the rest of them, I mean, you could have had another,
which for some reason you didn't start.
2011. So
it was 13-1. So you started all 13-1 of that, right?
And I think I only actually started 2 games in 2010.
You didn't start Arkansas for some reason. I thought that was strange. You started Ole Miss.
I did start the Ole Miss game.
I think I saw that. Oh, dude, I'm questioning myself. So Ole Miss was your first game back. I thought I read it.
I started either one of those games.
Oh, really? So the bowl game was your first start back.
Yeah.
So you started North Carolina and you started
Texas
A&M 2-0.
Yeah.
All right, 15-1. We're talking to the 15-1.
I can't wait to hit my boys with that.
Now you utterly screwed up the Arkansas game that year, and you screwed up the Sugar Bowl, but that's okay. You didn't start; you just were there. You got to participate.
Yeah, that Arkansas game, dude, it was over. Like it was. We already lost to Auburn. Auburn was already in, and we played in Little Rock. It was like 30 degrees, and it was just like that was one of the most miserable games I ever remember.
The Will Hatcher taking out Brandon Taylor, I believe it was. That one just sticks in my head. Unbelievable. By the way, the best defensive backfield in college football history was on that 2010 team. Patrick Peterson, Tyrann Mathieu, Mo Claiborne. Oh, Chad Jones. God. Chad Jones? No, 2009. 2009 was Chad Jones.
Yeah, did
Brandon Taylor
leave that year?
Yeah,
Chad left in 2010.
He left in 2009. Yeah, He won the baseball championship. Said, "I'm out, you."
Yeah, I guess that's right,
dude. He was a beast too, though, man. I mean, those old defensive backfields. Ron Cooper was doing some work back in the day, man.
Ron Brooks.
Yeah. Oh, Ron Brooks, the best player ever to not start a game at LSU.
He kind of helped do he and Tyrann kind of helped develop that nickel being almost an every down position or an interchangeable.
Yeah.
When they used to have the starting lineups, it was 40 linemen, 3 linebackers, 4 DBs. And then when those guys came around, they started being okay, maybe there's a nickel starting this time. It could be, either one of these. So those guys did such a good job in that, covering this receiver, nickel cornerback type role.
All right, here's the super chat. Will, would you like to see the Big Cat drill come back? We can do the Big Cat drill.
We can do the Big Cat drill, but not at the beginning of practice. I don't want to see it right after stretch because I'm not trying to do that. I don't want that to be the first thing I want to do at practice. I want to go out and just kind of loosen up. Let me go through my individual drills and maybe right before inside. Every football practice pretty much is kind of structured out. We work on different things, but there's certain fundamental things that are pretty structured. So
I question the effectiveness of this drill because you only get 2 players in at one time. The whole football team stands around and watch 2 players get reps at once, and I'm just like,
it is one of those things, but it does kind of build a during camp or during spring ball when you're just
the hype,
of course, spring different. Spring ball is different now. We used to have 5 practices a week, 3 weeks in a row, and it was 15. Bam, 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 and you're done. They might do one on Tuesday, scrimmage on Saturday, walk through on Thursday. So it's not for camp. I mean, this might be something that you might want to institute during camp to try and get some guys hyped up when you're grinding through a month of practice with no game. I don't hate the Big Cat drill. Obviously, it happens every play, so it is necessary. But I just hated starting practice doing that, man. It was just such a God, I gotta really come out here and get my mind right to go against Michael Brockers today. This sucks.
Let me ask this. Were you a guy when you lined up, you were just like mentally like an animal hype? You're full energy. Were you a slow down and focused type
No,
of
yeah, I
guy?
was always like
Yeah.
calm. Yeah, like calm, angry. Like it
Yeah.
was always played from a place of anger, but it was always like no, I wasn't like a high energy guy. No.
Yeah. When I got hyped and high energy, I would get like holding penalties and stuff and
It's just not my
screw up.
personality. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's true
I
too. If
was
I ever
always a lock in and focus kind of guy. I always felt like the rah stuff. Like,
yeah,
you know what, man? Uh, no matter how much energy you put into this block, you got to get your footwork right. You got to position yourself,
yes.
and then like even pass blocking where it's less of a going after them. You're kind
Yeah.
of taking it back and letting them come to you. I always felt like focus was the better way. And I'm just like, when I hear Big Cat Grill, it makes me just remember the whole
But
like
there's a place for that. I
meathead
mean,
mentality,
what about like 4th and 1 on the tush push? I'm getting hyped up. I'm going
Yeah.
as hard as I can, and
Yeah,
because
no,
yeah,
there's some
it
situations. Yeah,
depends on
you
your
don't really have to
responsibility,
think much.
right? Like,
Field goal
yeah.
block. You don't really have to
God,
think much. Tuck your leg behind a guy and smash the dude.
we need to stop with that, by the way. We need to stop with extra points. Just because they have well, I mean, it is kind of cool when they do have an effect, but like as an offensive lineman, man, that's the worst. Like that's the worst thing ever to
Yeah,
have to block on PAT.
yeah, no doubt.
Some dude's just teeing off on you,
I
and you're
hated it.
just like,
I asked coach my senior year to take me off it, and he did.
me too. Yeah,
I was like,
me
I
too.
love getting to just run off the sideline, chest bump my back up, and go take care of it, man.
Miles did used to make us do punt and punt return though,
Ooh, I didn't do any of that, dude. I didn't
which
like any of it.
it does kind of make sense. You do. If it was any other sport, you'd have your best guys out there as much as you could.
Yeah,
So
right. Well,
why wouldn't you?
if you have the
And
depth, I say screw it. Give the fat guys a rest.
yeah, and that's another
Have a
crazy
heart.
thing nobody ever gives us credit for is pretty much starting that spread punt. Like, go back before 2007 or 8 and see how many people were doing that.
No, they were doing some real good things on special teams, like
Yeah.
real innovative type stuff, man. I mean, it
Yeah,
was
it's crazy that
fun to
people are
watch.
still doing that, but it hasn't transferred over to the pro game.
Yeah, no way. All right, let's talk a few things about what we're looking for in spring ball. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk a few things, and I'm gonna get some Will Blackwell commentary. There's a lot of things you could be looking for here. For instance, you could almost, if the defense, you could throw a pin at it and be like, "That's something I'm locked in looking at." To summarize, the number one thing I'm looking for specifically is your technique on defense. Are you wrapping up and tackling? Are your defensive linemen lined up on the line of scrimmage? Are you giving full effort? Is there any loafing? And if there is loafing, are coaches getting on their ass about it? Defensive backs with their coverage, are they able to locate the ball in the air? That's the number one thing I'm looking for, and it's not really particularly close. Will, what are some things like that? Like, do you agree that probably was LSU's biggest problem on defense last year?
What, basic fundamentals?
Basic fundamentals, yeah.
Yes, entirely. I think that's been the problem for a couple seasons, to be honest with you.
Mm.
Starting with tackling, the most fundamental aspect of, if
Of
not
football.
the game, defense for sure. And Preston, one of the part of that is just the motivation, right? Like,
Yeah.
I seem to kind of get this sense that, like, at the end of the season, of course, with all the posts and everything that have come out since House has been fired or took another job, whatever you want to call it, there was a little bit of dissension going on, and that doesn't just like start. That's it kind of feels like maybe he never had the locker room or never had the guys convinced at all that they knew what they were doing, or that there was something missing. Like, there was something off the entire time, and it's just, we got to start over. I think the guys that we now have in place have proven time and time again that fundamentals are not only important to them but to the game, and they have preached that aspect of the game. And for us to even have a chance of winning anything or being in the conversation, we have to be fundamentally sound, because you obviously, especially on the defensive side of the ball, are not going to have an overwhelming amount of talent to make up for fundamental mistakes, which we saw last season.
All right. Number 2 item that I'm looking for. You have a lot of positions that have some depth issues. Nothing like defensive tackle for this team. And in the spring, you're only going to have 4 defensive tackles on this team because Dominic McKinley is not an early enrollee, right? So you're going to have Jalen Lee and Jacoby and Guillory as your 2 returning players, not starters, but players. Sean Washington and Demirian Johnson are going to come in and bolster that depth a little bit. I'm really curious to see who slides out. Someone's going to have to slide into defensive tackle, offensive lineman or defensive end. Someone's going to have to slide in there, man. So I'm interested to see that, man.
Or we go to a 3-man front.
Maybe for spring. I could see that just for spring.
Yeah. I think that, people will say, well, if that's not your scheme, don't run it. But it's spring ball. It doesn't matter what your scheme is. It's not going to be the same in fall anyway. Like we mentioned, fundamentals are important. What if you get 3 games into the season and somebody gets hurt and you say, shit, we got to go to a 3-man front? Doesn't hurt to know what to do.
The modern defenses, they almost all have a multiple approach.
Yeah. It's a different, right? It's a different mindset defensively, structure-wise, than it was 10 or 15 years ago. But even still, when we're talking about a team like this that has proven how fundamentally unsound they can be, it's not going to hurt to work on fundamentals. So it's not going to hurt to throw in every package that you want to work on in spring and kind of wait and see, hey, maybe in fall we'll get it, who knows with this transferring freshman, you never know what's going to happen in fall camp, right? Like you never know how it's going to play out. You got 5 months until then. Obviously,
it's
defensive
a wild
tackle
world.
is important, but you can make up for it with great linebacker play. Of course, that's another position that we're going to be hurting in.
In defensive tackle, you can coach your guys to play in a way that isn't too detrimental to the team if you kind of suck. You know what I mean? Like you can tell a guy to, okay, just eat this block and scheme around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not like you don't have a cornerback that can cover.
Which you didn't last year, so we'll see how that goes. I do think they're going to find. I don't think that probably Jacoby and Guillory will be a starting defensive tackle.
Jacoby and Guillory could still be a good player too, and we've seen multiple guys come into LSU and kind of, specifically defensive tackles, kind of get lost in the shuffle, and all of a sudden, like, holy cow, this guy's for real. They put it together in the weight room. Maybe it's a coaching change. Bo Davis comes in and uses his fingers and figures out in your mind what strings to pull to get the best of you. And, that's possible. I don't think that any of these guys were hired on a whim. I think it was obviously purposeful. And I look forward to just kind of seeing a revamped defense, man. It's like we talked about so many times. It's so weird to grow up and watch a team that's so good defensively and so bad offensively now become so good offensively and so bad defensively. I don't know that I can handle it.
It's such a. The funny thing is, you say that at the NFL level, for most LSU fans or Saints fan, the offense is just completely inept, and the defense is doing its thing. It's like, what the hell happened in Louisiana football, man?
It's walked up.
There's some bad voodoo going on.
Oh, we got a Heisman out of it, and
Well, I'm gonna tell you this from a spectator point of view. You'd much rather have an offense that's just kicking a ton of ass and just watch that. At least it's fun to get a Heisman winner out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, wouldn't you just rather be in it? It's one of those.
You'd rather be a competitor. I'm talking if you have to make the choice.
If I got to make the choice, do I take
a crappy offense or a crappy defense?
I mean, what's the difference in my records either way?
The same, exactly the same. You're in purgatory. You're 9-3.
No matter what?
No matter what. You didn't beat Bama. Your wins and losses are all the same. You either score 18 points a game or you score 42 points a game.
I guess 42 is easier to watch, but
that's my point. Man. It's easier to watch. That's it.
I don't know.
Granted, look, man.
But is it easier to make an excuse and be like, damn, if we could have just scored, we would have won. Or it's like, oh my God, if we could have just stopped them one more time, they wouldn't have scored 50 points.
All right. If you could go back to 1-9-12 and you could lose 21-0 like you did, right? Or you have the option to, okay, we can lose 55-38. What are you picking?
Maybe 21 zip.
Really?
Only because that 21 zip is a little bit overblown. It wasn't a 3-score game the whole time.
Yeah, they pulled away late.
It was like 6-9.
He
like
ran,
the game, it was like a 1.5 possession.
It was
game
15-0 until the fourth quarter.
Yeah, well, I think it was what 9-0 at half.
Yeah, 9-0 at half.
9-0 at half.
They just kept on kicking field goals, and then finally Trent Richardson broke one off. It took him 8 quarters.
Yeah, that game before that run, it still felt like, dude, there's still time. There's still time.
It
we
was
just
just
need to play. There's still time. 55-38. It's like we ain't stopping these dudes. There is nothing. You scoring 55 points. It's
just
over with.
The jokes and the demoralization of that 0 afterward, man. Oof.
Whatever.
I don't know. But I could never imagine
Preston?
being on the field for that. I'll say that.
I didn't come on here for this.
Let's just talk about the worst day of your life over and over and over
spring
again.
Ball, Will,
Are
when
you
lost the
hold
championship?
up.
Yes, I do recall. See, look, I got the jersey.
How you have the logo right
Still
behind
clean.
it, man. I didn't even bring the logo into this.
It was still an experience.
How long did it take you before you could ever talk about that game without getting pissed off?
It still bothers me, but
you're still mad at me right now, is what you're saying.
No. Obviously, it's kind of weird. It took a while, but now we have this, like, I don't want to say following, but like we have this like little cult spot in LSU history. You know, like I feel like we won't get lost in the shuffle just because of how poorly it ended. Like people will always look back and be like, damn, that 2011 team could have been, like it could have been one of the best
team
ever.
Never win a championship. Like
at least they'll remember, that we played there. And that's I mean, we won an SEC championship, an undefeated SEC championship. So
and it wasn't really close either.
No,
it was like blowouts.
We at the time we tied the school record for rushing touchdowns, and we have some plaques and things at the stadium. So all in all, it was a great experience. But yeah, I mean, losing sucked, and it's still weird to think about how different things could have been had we won. But I mean, that was a long time ago, dude. I gotta freaking worry about brushing my kids' teeth and making sure they, that. So it puts it in perspective to be 35 and look back at it. But yeah, obviously we'll probably never stop talking about it.
Probably never. And I'll say this: I do feel like 2019 lessened the blow of it. Maybe not for you because you were a player. I can't speak for you.
The actual win, like when it actually happened, it probably made it feel worse for a little bit. It's just like, golly, man, like we were that was us. We were right there. But now, yes, there is redemption in that for the overall, like, university and fan base and team. So like
felt
that,
like redemption, right?
For sure.
Exactly.
I mean,
and the other thing is, and no offense to your 2011. So the 2011 team was the best team in school history until that 2019 team.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, they would have mopped the floor with 07. They would have beaten 03. 1958, they're not scoring. Like, it would have been a massacre. Any other team takes the field against 2011. Massacre.
Please, somebody show this clip to OTB.
I've been roasted on Twitter for this, by the way.
Let them discuss this in the morning.
I have been roasted on Twitter for this before, but I firmly believe it, that was the best team in school history. Until Joe Burrow came to town. Joe Burrow is.
Yeah, I mean, that's generational. The only thing I'll say about 07 versus 11 is they had us on their team. We didn't have none of them on our team. So, coincidence? I mean, they won, but they lost more games than we did. So,
who? 2019?
No, 2007.
Oh, 2007. Oh, yeah. No, I get what you're saying. So the 2011 guys played for the 2007 team.
There were 4, of us, 5 of us.
Yeah. T-Bob Abear
Me,
was one, right?
T-Bob, Tarasic.
Yeah. So
There
you
was
have
a
2
couple more.
rings, is that right? Like a SEC ring and a national championship ring?
Well, yeah. Well, 2 SEC championships from
Yeah,
07
right.
and the national championship from 2007. Now we were
Sweet.
all, we all redshirted. We didn't
Right,
play,
right,
but we
right.
were
But
still
it
on
still
the team.
counts. I mean, you were
We were on the
still
scout
scout
team. We
team.
were
You
giving
know
them
what I mean?
looks,
You were helping.
out there.
You contributed.
Traveling. I was on the travel team, so I got to go. But
That's impressive. True freshman.
actually, my first game ever was 07 Kentucky game.
Oh, really? What was
Yeah.
it, like a kickoff or something you got in?
No, I just traveled because I was still on defensive line. Somebody got hurt.
Y'all lost
Maybe,
that game.
yeah, in overtime,
Andre
triple
Woodson.
overtime.
And
They
so you
rushed.
actually played like real snaps.
No. It was just there was just only like whatever 65, 70 guys travel. So like I went in
But I'm
case.
saying if you got in that game, it was a
No,
real
I didn't
snap.
get in. I traveled to the game.
Oh, you
like
just were there. Okay.
had like 15 people get hurt. I would have had to play.
Yeah.
But that was back when like
Assholes.
if you went in, your red shirt was burned. That's
Oh
not
yeah, it
why-
was
That's
done.
not
You
why
were
I
over.
didn't play. But I was a body. Like they needed another emergency body, so I was there.
There you go.
Yeah, they rushed the field. That was tough.
That was a bummer, man. Okay, so I got one more ad to go to, and we're gonna get to my 2 other things we're looking for in spring ball. We'll get right back. This show's running late, but I kind of knew it would because this is it, guys. Y'all aren't gonna hear from me for a while, so I figured I'd give y'all a little extra tonight. Anyways, last commercial of the night, guys. Celebrity Theater's our title sponsor this year. They do private events, and guys, if you're looking for a birthday party for one of Will's 3 kids or something like that, guys, one-stop shop, you're done. They've got 8 to 10 auditoriums, whether you're interested in hosting a birthday party, private movie screening, corporate meeting, arcade party, whatever. They've got the perfect facilities to fit your need. Celebrity Theaters is proud to offer birthday packages for children of all ages. Let them handle everything from movies to entertainment to setup to cleanup. For more information or book your party online, visit www.celebritytheaters.com/events or send them an email at events@celebritytheaters.com. Let's see here. Just make sure I got it. Hey, look, Big Cojones is with you, man. He'd rather a team dominate on defense that doesn't move the ball.
Thank you.
Look, I'm just saying it was fun to watch Jaden this year. Even in those losses, like against Ole Miss, I still could tell I was watching greatness from Jaden. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, we're not going to get just because you're guaranteeing me an offense that's better than a defense doesn't mean I'm going to get Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I get 3 Heismans out of 100 years. Like,
yeah,
that's cool. I love it, but maybe defense gives me another championship.
Okay. My number 3 item I'm looking for. We'll switch to the other side of the ball. Now, obviously, I still think most eyes are going to be in the defense, but you're replacing a lot of players on this offense. You're replacing your 2 first-round receivers. You're replacing Jaden Daniels. You're replacing your offensive coordinator. There's a lot of turnover there. But I still feel like there's an expectation that ball is going to keep on rolling. You know what I mean? I feel like most people are like, yeah, dude, I saw 395 from Nussmeier in the bowl game. They're gonna be fine. That's a machine.
Well,
and that offensive line.
Yeah. The offensive line is intact. It hurts to lose Hurd, but I guess some people like money more than whatever.
But he probably wasn't gonna play either, though. I mean, there's no guarantee. You got 4 of your 5 offensive linemen returning, dude.
Maybe not. Maybe he plays. I don't know. Maybe he didn't want to play defensive line. Maybe they approached him and said, "Hey, what do you think about playing a little D tackle?" And he was like, "Yeah, I don't want to do that." Yeah, I mean, anytime you got to replace skill guys like that, it's a challenge. But I think the co-offensive coordinator thing could work out.
I think it's going to be – so did you notice in the titles, Joe Sloan is the offensive coordinator. Cortez Hankton is the co-offensive coordinator.
Which,
I think,
at least there's a little bit of distinction, right?
I think it's going to be Joe Sloan calling the plays, and Cortez Hankton is going to help build the playbook.
That's perfectly fine with me, and that probably seems like that's what both guys are better at.
Yeah.
Now, just because we have been a pass-heavy, kind of run the ball around the yard, throw it around the yard team doesn't mean we have to keep doing that. Maybe Joe's able to say, look, these guys can run the ball. We got some running backs in this stable. some guys that need to get out there and have the rock out in space, right? So that's one way to calm down Nussmeier and to keep him comfortable. And you saw it last night, really. It's hard to make comparisons in the pro and the college game, but how much better Purdy was playing kind of when they were able to run the ball, and he knew that that was going to take a little bit of the heat off of him, as opposed to when they knew they were going to run the ball and Purdy knew he had to make a play. It's a completely different game scenario. So I think with the experience that they have and the athleticism that they have, man, that we used to call it horn balls, but that little tall sweep that San Francisco ran last night, a couple of the screens that Kansas City ran, if you got some athletic, nimble offensive linemen, you can get them out there, find creative ways to get it to your running back and get it out of his hand. And hopefully, throughout the spring, they can kind of mix and match and kind of pick and say, hey, look, we're good at this. Let's work on it during the fall.
So that brings me to my number one thing on the offense I'm looking for. I'm looking, who's your number one receiver? Is that
Lacey?
Yeah, well, that's the chalk answer. Is like, you figure he slides into that spot.
Well, this is wide receiver you, baby. That's what you got to
No. He's got the athleticism. I question the consistency of his hands is what I question. Will that hold him back? Or does enough volume help fix that? And then you also have to wonder, Chris Hilton in fall camp to Nussmeier was special.
Yeah.
I mean, really special. It was like, whoa, these guys look really good.
Right.
I expect Chris Hilton will fight for that spot. And then you bring it in the Liberty transfer receiver, CJ Daniels. He was 1,000-yard receiver, but we've seen 1,000-yard receivers come in from smaller schools and not look. Think about Jonathan Giles,
Well, what about the tight ends too?
And well, I think old boy's got that on lockdown. Mason Taylor.
Well, you got Mason. Have you seen the green kid play?
Yeah, he's a beast, dude. From Zack, Trades
5
stars.
We
talked about him all year.
If you could look at me and say that he's probably not going to get reps, I'd be like, I think you're crazy.
Oh, he got reps.
I don't think there's any way he won't get reps. So that takes more pressure off of Lacey. That takes more pressure off of Hilton, right? Like this kid, the Traders Green, I think is going to be a dynamic receiver. Mm-hmm. I don't think that Mason's a dynamic receiver. He's a good blocking tight end. He can catch the ball and make some plays, but it's not the same. It's
Do you think Tradez Green could take reps away from Mason Taylor?
Dude, I saw him play against West Monroe, and it's one of the only times I've ever watched a high school kid and been like, we can't stop him. There's nothing we can do. And I'm naturally pessimistic. I don't want to say I'm a hater by nature, but I'm close to that. Mm-hmm. So I'm going into this game thinking like, oh, man, this kid's overhyped. He's not going to be this good. And I'm less saying like, hurry up and get to LSU. I want to see this kid.
Well, and then Kamori and Pimpton's still there, and Mac Markway. I mean, they got some.
We got some tight ends. And if we can, I keep saying San Francisco just because I think we can get those tight ends involved and be more of a pro style type offense, right? That's what Kyle Shanahan's like, the prototypical Shanahan pro style offense. Big zone, big wide zone cutbacks, some screens, but kind of run heavy. I'd like to see us get back to running the ball, and then that opens it up a little bit for Nuss.
Well, that brings me to my fourth point here: your running back rotation. So remember, last year you had 8 running backs on the roster. You're not going to have that anymore. You're going to have Josh Williams is coming back. He's your veteran guy. I'm interested to see, is this going to be like the Josh Williams show? Because I think Josh Williams is a back that's best used in his strengths. Use him situationally to his strengths. I don't think he's best as an every down back. Or are you going to spell Caleb Jackson, Trey Holly? Now, you're not going to see him in the spring because he won't be there yet. But Caden Durham, the Duncanville High School running back, does he vie for some reps? I think he's too damn good not to.
It's weird too now, Preston. The game, there is no such thing as an every down back anymore. There is no running back that plays every play.
Carries,
it just, except for McCaffrey, I guess, but it doesn't really happen.
Even he gets spelled from Elijah Mitchell every once in a while.
That's true. I think the most important thing, and hopefully the running backs will realize this, is probably going to be or has been in the past pass blocking for these guys, right? Like Josh is in there because he could pass block for Jaden, 100%.
Oh yeah, and he's excellent at it.
He's
One of the best
great at it.
blockers as a running back I've ever seen.
I think Caleb could come along. He's big. Obviously, God knows how to lay the wood, so that helps in pass protection. He also has pretty decent hands from what we've seen. That's another thing. I think if you're going to be, running the ball and also involving the screen game, trying to have these quick throws to where your quarterback gets comfortable, the running back's got to be able to catch the ball.
Yeah.
So whichever one of these guys has the best hands and can also pass protect.
I think that's Josh Williams, though.
Maybe so. I don't know that he has the best hands.
He's got some soft hands, man.
He's a really I don't know, man. You may be right. I hope that we get to see more of Trey Holly.
I would actually rank Trey Holly above Caleb Jackson in catching out of the backfield, namely because of two plays. Okay, one was in fall camp where I'm trying to remember who was the quarter. It was Jaden Daniels. He threw a swing pass to Caleb Jackson and he bobbled it, and Greg Brooks caught it and took it to the house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
And Greg Brooks was having a good fall camp, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to Greg.
Hope he's doing all right, man. I don't think football's in his future, but
no, I haven't heard.
I hope the world for him
lately. But
I heard good news. I heard he's getting healthier.
Good.
Anyways, and then there was the Ole Miss game where it's like third down game on the line, and they threw another swing pass to Caleb Jackson. He drops it. Drops it. And I'm like, I didn't really like the way they used the running backs situationally last year.
Well, you can't do that situationally, right? Like you can't bring a guy in off the bench and be like, all right, we're giving you a swing pass. Like
with the game on the line.
I haven't ran a play, and now you want me to catch? Like this is not.
And he had like 2 carries that game, something ridiculous like that.
So maybe Holly is more naturally. I always kind of wish that. Don't want to take a ball out of the guy's hand, but I always kind of wish Trey Holly would play linebacker.
Why he's a little small for linebacker?
I mean, not necessarily. It's just. I mean, you got to cover, but it's almost the same position. Inside linebacker, running back.
Space up.
I mean, they're just doing the same thing on the other side of the ball.
I guess so. I guess that's why Devin White was such a good running back.
He's the prototypical example for it. I mean, obviously, it's not the same exact position, but what does a middle linebacker do?
Well, I mean, he
keys the ball and usually the running back.
He quarterbacks the defense first off. He looks for the ball and hunts it down.
Essentially, his role would be
I get what you're saying. I just think
to the running back. Maybe
Trey Holly's a little small. He's
maybe.
like 5'9", and you don't see too many 5'9" linebackers.
How tall is what's his name?
I need you to be more specific. Which one? Well, you're talking about yeah. You can't say that, man.
Yes, I can.
I know who you're talking. He's like 6'2".
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, he's a big guy. Man, he's athletic, man.
Doesn't look 6'2". Whatever. I don't know. I just need some people to tackle.
I just want Trey.
I feel like Trey Holly knows how to tackle too.
He's got that dog in him.
Yes, he does. I mean, he's a 318 guy, dude. I gotta see him on the field.
There it is. 318, 31. Great love. I'd like to see Trey Holly get on the field at running back. He's a very good back, and I'd love to see him. I'd love to see Caden Durham, and I'd love to see Caleb Jackson. I'd love to see him smoke some people. That 225.
Yeah, I think we're in an unusual situation. We're gonna have to rely on some freshmen.
At running
whether
back,
it's McKinney or just at different positions throughout the team.
Defensive backfield, probably.
Yeah. Defensive back, defensive line.
Defensive tackle.
Defensive tackle. It could be
Don McKinley.
Tough sledding for a little while, but you got to use the springtime to get these guys coached up and get the right attitude moving forward.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm hoping that we get a heavy dose of Trey Holly and Caleb Jackson, and it is not just we're going to roll with the senior back and he's going to get the lion's share of the carries, and that's that. I don't think your team's best when you do that.
Yeah, I don't think he's been dynamic enough running the ball to warrant that. Had he had some, he's obviously had his good runs, but I think he's better served as a
situation
blocker.
They used him on 4th and 1. They used what's his name, Josh Williams on 4th and 1. And I'm like, you sure?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I don't want Trey Holly on 4th and 1 either. Like, you sure? Like, I want Caleb Jackson out there with his 6'1", 220 pound.
I don't know. That's kind of what I
4'4",
want
40.
That's kind of what I want a fullback to, though.
No,
Not
we don't have a
necessarily to get,
fullback.
not necessarily like to get the ball, but that's.
I mean, what you want to run a Stegosaurus out there too? I mean, we're talking about extinct species here.
Kyle, just check. Of course, he's nothing more than a tight end, but
it's an H back at best.
Would they run on 4th and 1 last night in the Super Bowl?
They did. No, he had a really nice catch. But I mean, Kyle Shanahan's offense is not a real offense. That doesn't actually exist in football outside of San Francisco.
But that's the offense that schematically everyone strives to.
They're trying to copy.
In my opinion, it's the most like prototypical pro style offense out there. Like he does situationally what you would want to do. It doesn't always work, obviously.
The one thing I hate about the Kyle Shanahan offense is it does get your quarterback murked. I mean, those rollouts are nice and they're great, but sometimes you look up and there's a defender right there and you just.
But then again, they did, and who knows? You have to go back and actually watch the game tape and break it down. But they had some mistakes. Who knows? Maybe some of those plays were missed assignments or issues like that. I'm not here to be like, I love Kyle Shanahan. He's the best coach ever, but
he's a good coach. He's really good.
He's a good coach, and he has a very good scheme. Of course, running into Patrick Mahomes, I think all bets are off. You got to do what you got to do.
He might be the GOAT. I'm going to be honest.
He's definitely trending that way. I mean, he's the active GOAT for sure.
I'm really hoping that we get, I hope Joe Burrow becomes the Peyton Manning to Mahomes Brady. I think the writing is on the wall there. Joe Burrow's already got him. They're already 1-1 in the playoffs. There's two quarterbacks who have ever beaten Mahomes. It's Burrow and Tom Brady.
Yeah, Burrow's a little too flashy to be a Peyton Manning, though.
Ooh, you don't think Peyton Manning was flashy?
I mean, personally,
all right, was he not flashy, or did he just not have Twitter?
Well, I think that Peyton has probably the most underrated. Not that Joe Burrow doesn't do everything absolutely necessary to be a top tier quarterback, but stories that I've heard about Peyton is just like unparalleled work ethic. Stuff that you wouldn't even think about, like that nobody would do unless they were like almost insane.
The preparation,
dude. Like
it was
Coach
really
Moffitt told the story about I think when he might have been a sophomore. He was a freshman or sophomore, and he comes in the weight room, and during the summer everybody's gone except for like a few guys. And he's like, "Hey, Moffitt, I got some tapes in my car," because you had to take tapes to the dorm to watch them back then. "You come help me grab some?" Moffitt's like, "Yeah, sure, I got you." Well, they can, like a couple of whatever, like legal boxes. Like maybe the dude's got like 15, 20 tapes. He said they went out there and had to make like 6 or 8 shopping cart trips full of tape.
Yeah.
Because Peyton was just sitting in his dorm room. Like that's almost like not healthy mentally. The work ethic that you're like, that's on the it's like weird. On the spectrum. I wasn't going to say that, but yes, exactly. It's like
like it is a little obsessive.
That's crazy. That's why Joe Burrow's like,
in my opinion, I think Peyton Manning is the second best quarterback of all time. Now, I'm not going to give that above Brady.
If you want to talk about like fundamental, like football player, like captain of a football team, quarterback, yes.
But
for sure.
I do think of the quarterbacks in the league right now, Burrow is the closest to that. He's got that mentality.
Yeah, I guess my point in that disliking that analogy is that I think it's a little bit of a disservice to Peyton at this point.
Well, I don't think that
it's for lack of a better term, right? Like there is no other.
It is all we know. Like let's see if he can become that.
That's true.
Because I mean, you've got your Brady right now.
Peyton was just more. I feel like Peyton was more durable too, man.
Well, Burrow's not been durable at all.
I mean,
half his seasons have had career-ending injuries. I mean, at this point, Burrow, if you're just being objective and honest, you have to say he's injury prone. That's the tag you have to give him.
Yeah, 2 out of 3, right?
No, 2 out of 4. Yeah,
2 out of 4. Okay, yeah. So I mean, still.
I mean, that's 50%. That's
50% chance of not playing this year. I mean,
I hope he doesn't Andrew. I hope the comparison we don't walk away with his career is Andrew Luck. That's what I'm really afraid of.
I mean, and look, it could happen. And luckily, it's, I guess you say luckily. I don't know.
Luckily.
Depends on how you look at it. It's been different injuries.
Yeah.
Right. It hasn't been a recurring injury, which kind of, depending on what they are, can be better or worse.
Like a nagging injury that won't.
Right. Or like, like if he blew his knee out again, something like that. Or
but look, on the other side of the injury coin, he has been to the AFC Championship every time he's been healthy, and really, he was a play or two away from beating KC last time. I mean, it was really close. So,
yeah, they need a little bit more help. They need a little bit more help. Of course. Like we said, if he doesn't stay healthy, it doesn't matter, I don't think. But they kind of came on strong there at the end of the season. I don't know. I guess it took them a while to find their groove in the beginning. They kind of just.
Well, Browning was pretty good too.
Yeah, Browning. That's what I said. They kind of came back around and got it together. They just had such a terrible start. I'm not so sure that he wasn't kind of hurt the whole time. And
no, for sure he was
through it.
Yeah, for sure. I'll tell you what though. If the Bengals and Saints make the Super Bowl next year, not a big risk. We acknowledge, but I don't know that Louisiana has the infrastructure to withstand a Super Bowl.
Was that you that tweeted something
in
about
New Orleans? Yeah, I did tweet that.
Dennis Allen doing his best to stop that.
He's doing his best to save his state. He's not the hero we deserve, but he's the hero we need. Okay, Dennis Allen doing some mad work to prevent that from happening. All right, halftime show in New Orleans next year. We'll end the show on this. Who you got?
Let's see. I saw somebody say Jean Baptiste for the national anthem.
Okay,
could dig that. That'd be nice. And then halftime. I mean, Lil Wayne's gonna be out there.
He's gonna be the easy
Hot Boys, Lil Wayne, like the old school.
The Carter 3.
Maybe it's mystical. I don't know if you want to start. I don't know where you go with Boosie. Where did the whole Louisiana?
Well, check this out. Yeah, I was about to say, what if you got Wayne and then all the Louisiana rappers like Boosie, what's his name, Webby? Now, I think Webby's got like some beef with Boosie. I can't even remember. And Kevin Gates.
Kevin Gates, that'd
be a pretty sick lineup.
Doesn't Kevin Gates seem like sexual songs and stuff? And that'd be kind of weird for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but you could PG it. I mean, did you not see what Usher did to Alicia Keys? My God.
Dude, the roller skates.
My guy was risking it all. Had me laughing. Risking it all for Alicia Keys.
I did like to see Luda back in action. That'd
be good.
That was nice.
Wasn't he part of the lineup last year with Eminem and all those guys, or am I crazy?
Was that last year or 2 years ago?
It was last year.
Was last year with
Eminem and all the
Dr.
rap legends?
Dre and Kendrick Lamar.
Dude, that was my favorite in a long time. That was a good one.
Oh, the year, and then Rihanna was the year before that.
That's what I think. Yeah, pretty sure.
I don't know.
Then the year before that would have been Shakira.
Yeah,
that was a good one too.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think they got to have Lil Wayne out there in some capacity, or
right.
It doesn't even matter, right?
I think that's the low-hanging fruit. Now, let me throw something a little different out there, okay? Because especially in recent years, we haven't gone this direction. In 2006, for the first game back in the Superdome after Katrina, U2 and Green Day rocked the stage and played The Saints Are Coming, and it was freaking fantastic. It was so electric, such a big win over the Falcons against Michael Vick on Monday Night Football. 2025 is going to be 20 years since Katrina. What if you rolled those dudes out there for a special Katrina 20-year? It'd be different. Just hear me out. It'd be cool.
Is that kind of insensitive though? To be like celebrating Katrina?
How about we celebrate
YouTube? Like if we're gonna do a Katrina like memorial. You want U2 and Green Day?
Well, they did it in 2006.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We got a chance to do it again. Is that who we want to bring back?
I mean,
I don't know.
You can't bring someone who wasn't there.
I'm just devil's advocate. I don't know.
I'm just saying it'd be cool. It'd be cool.
I don't think they would.
Mike Scarborough would listen. He hates all the rap and hip hop stuff they do nowadays.
I mean,
he's such an old man.
You gotta play what the kids want to see.
He's such an old man. Well, you know, I'll say this: that whole 2000s emo phase that we all lived through and survived, and we're embarrassed to admit that we listened to My Chemical Romance, right? But
Panic at the Disco.
We all did, okay, but just nobody went to school and admitted it, right?
No. What was the other? What was the?
They're kind of making a comeback, dude. Fall Out Boy. Panic at the Disco was
Modest Mouse.
But dude, so good.
Modest Mouse. I mean, yeah, I know.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
No, don't do my boys like that. They're not necessarily
they're not
emo.
Really emo, but they were in 2000s alternative rock, so they're gonna get lumped in.
They're gonna get played on that radio station for sure.
Bingo. You know what I'm saying? But like, I mean, dare I say Nickelback? You know, Nickelback, the one everybody pretended to hate.
Oh, Nickelback, man.
But Green Day was like the
Green Day was like the top, the main line. Like
like they were like the headliner of it all. You know what I mean? So like, I mean,
Panic at the Disco.
That stuff is trending back. That's all I'm telling you. Is kids nowadays are listening to this music. Like they'll play Mr. Brightside by the Killers, and I'm like, whoa, what's this kid doing singing the anthem of my people?
The anthem of my people. They actually, one of them, I can't remember if maybe it is it's one of those bands that make like the Spidey and Friends. I don't know if your son's into that yet.
No. He does watch Spidey and Friends. I was thinking the Miles Morales. Yeah, the little cartoon show.
The Spidey and Friends cartoon show.
It's on. I don't watch it. Like, look, when Bluey comes on, that's appointment television. But Spidey and Friends, it's just background.
I'm pretty sure that's Panic at the Disco guy that's singing the.
Oh, that's funny.
That's
hilarious.
Yeah. Go, Webs, go.
I just say it would be refreshing to have a rock band out there, and that's a good excuse to use one.
There may be a couple better rock bands out there. I don't mean.
Oh no, I'm not. There's no doubt in my mind that there's a better one.
Green
I'm just
Day,
saying,
but it's not a bad idea. I kind of like where you're starting. I like the nostalgia.
Yeah.
That's why I said Hot Boys, because that would be like.
Oh, dude, you know Green Day
1999
did
again.
The ABC New Year's Day thing this year. That's what I'm saying. Like that type of music is kind of starting to trend back.
We'll see. Even though maybe no rap music in New Orleans Super Bowl. I don't think that's.
Yeah, I think that's really where you're missing the culture. You know what I mean? Like, can you really do a New Orleans Super Bowl without that? You know.
No.
You got to have best rapper alive. That's what I'm saying. I think it's a bit of a miss, but I mean, they've done misses before. They had a Super Bowl in Atlanta where they rolled some old white guy out there. I can't even remember. Maybe it was Lady Gaga. I can't even remember. It was.
Yeah, I don't want to see Lady Gaga. No, nothing like that.
You just missed a chance to embrace the culture. Is my point.
Or why don't we just let the Chiefs go again and Taylor Swift can do it?
Yeah, you know, she has never done a Super Bowl halftime show because it's Pepsi, right? And she has a deal with Coke. So there's just it's always been a full stop. She could do it. She could. I'm just saying. And that would be a big deal, especially now that you're captivating on the Swifties actually watching football. Just saying.
They are. They like to see Taylor's boyfriend score.
How about that? All right, guys. Well, look, Will, I appreciate you for hopping on for an extended show tonight, guys. Sure. Final show of the season. I really appreciate y'all supporting the show and making everything we do possible. I truly do enjoy getting to do what I do. I will see y'all again for spring football. That starts March 5th. And of course, after that, we'll take a little bit of a hiatus after the spring game. And we will be back in August, where hopefully I can have Will back again. Y'all make sure to go give Will a follow on his Twitters and his social. What is it? Willie B60?
Willie B60.
Look at that. I got it memorized.
Don't expect anything enlightening on there. It's just usually arguing with people who disagree with Preston.
I try not to expect enlightening things in general. There, here, anywhere. It's just best if we keep that standard low. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, totally. Hey, look, man, I tell people the same thing about me.
Shout out to the chat. Appreciate you guys letting me come on. Thanks, Preston.
All right, man. Y'all have a great night. Make sure to hit like on the show so we get replay watches, and make sure to subscribe to our channel to where we can get 27K followers. Guys, I can't tell you how much I appreciate y'all. I appreciate Will. Y'all all have an excellent evening.